This episode is brought to you by Sterling Soap Company. How often do you think about your soap? Well, if you answered, not much, maybe you should. You see, a lot of what passes for soap in stores is technically not soap, according to the FDA's definition. It's full of lab-created chemicals and detergents because, well, it's cheaper to make. Now, what if you could buy natural soap made from natural ingredients like tallow, palm oil, coconut oil, and scented with essential oils, and for just a little more than you'd pay for grocery store soap? Sterling Soap is 100% natural, and with a wide variety of bath soaps, shave soaps, beard balm, lotions, and cologne, there's a product and a scent for just about everybody. Check them out for yourself at sterlingsoap.com. That's STIRLING soap.com.
This is Basketball History 101 with Rick Loayza.
Welcome back to award-winning Basketball History 101, part of the Sports History Network. I am your host, Rick Loayza, and this is the podcast where we bring to life some of the forgotten stories from basketball history. We are bringing old-school basketball to a new-school audience, and today we bring you the story of two players who had the distinction of playing for both the best team in NBA history and the worst team in NBA history. Now, for this story, I have to take you all the way back to the early 1970s. At the time, the NBA only had 17 teams in the league. The ABA was still rocking with 10 teams of their own. Disco was the new sound taking over the airwaves and the clubs. Bell-bottom pants were the latest in fashion, as well as Nehru jackets. Things were fresh and funky. And that takes me to the two players at the center of our story. They were Leroy Ellis and John Trapp. Now, neither player is a Hall of Famer, not even close. They were not even all-star players. These two players fall into the category of journeyman or role players. Of course, I do not mean any disrespect by that. Anybody who can carve out a career as a professional in the NBA is a fantastically gifted basketball player. However, once in the NBA, everybody is constantly being compared to everyone else, and they were compared to everyone else. They were players who mostly came off the bench for their respective teams to fill a role that the team needed, and there is no shame in that. Leroy Ellis was a 6'10" player who could play both the power forward position and the center position. He originally started out with the Lakers in 1962 and played for 4 seasons. Then it was on to the Bullets for 4 years, the Trailblazers for 1, and then back to the Lakers in the summer of 1971. John Trapp was a 6'7" small forward who started out with the San Diego Rockets for 3 years and then also joined the Lakers in the summer of 1971. Ellis averaged around 9 points per game for his career, while Trapp averaged around 7 points per game. But both landed with the Lakers at the same time, and that was the NBA's version of hitting the lottery. In addition to these two new players, the Lakers also brought in a new head coach in Bill Sharman, who transformed the way that they played. With Jerry West and Will Chamberlain still on the team, they were about to have a breakout season. And that was the year that the Lakers had their 33-game winning streak. It is still a record for most wins in a row by any North American professional sports team. Nobody in baseball, hockey, American football, or any other sport in North America has won that many games in a row. The Lakers finished that year with a record of 69-13, which was the best record in NBA history. And that record stood until the 1996 Bulls won 72 games, and then that record was broken again when the 2016 Warriors won 73 games. But the Lakers from 1972 still have the third best record of all time. But both Ellis and Trapp were solid members of the team. Ellis played in 74 games out of 82 and scored about 4.5 points per game. Trapp played in 58 games and scored about 5.5 points per game. Their job, of course, was to give the big men a bit of a break during the game. They would step in for Chamberlain and Jim McMillan when they needed a rest. And I do not want to discount that role. The players who come off the bench are valuable to every team that wins a championship. They help give the starters a bit of a rest, and if their team is winning the game, the job of the role player is to maintain that lead. The last thing you want is for the bench players to give away a lead, causing the coach to bring the starters back into the game sooner than he wanted. And here they were, part of a team that won 69 games, more than any team had ever won in a single season of NBA competition. They both received their rings, took the summer to celebrate, and came back the following season ready to do it again. However, in the following season, the Lakers were looking to improve, as all teams do, and let it be known that they were seeking a trade. The Philadelphia 76ers were open to such a trade. They needed to make some changes of their own. Now, this is a good place to take a break, and I'll be right back with the details of that trade.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
At the Sports History Network, we're all about sports yesteryear, and so we're so pleased to introduce you to Row One, an online memorabilia gallery and shop that brings your sports history to life anywhere. The Row One gallery includes over 5,200 gorgeously reproduced prints of team posters, game program covers, game tickets, advertisements, and more in baseball, pro and college football, pro and college basketball, and more. And any gallery item may be printed in a variety of sizes on wood, metal, canvas, acrylic, or poster paper. And in Row One shop, check out the thousands more of unique items with the retro and historical designs dating back to 1876, including t-shirts, long sleeve shirts, phone cases, mugs, blankets, pillows, towels, and even shower curtains. Go to sportshistorynetwork.com, ROW1, for access to the full Row One catalog and for gallery prints and gift items, plus get a 15% discount off all prints on the Row One Pictorium Gallery with coupon code SHN15. Follow the link on the show notes.
Hello, sports history fans. I'm Ross from the podcast Pigskin Tales. You're about to jump into another thrilling sports history moment, but first, let's dive into today's sponsor, just in time for the holiday season. Introducing Art of Words, the brainchild of word artist Dan Duffy from Philadelphia. Dan meticulously crafts stunning images by handwriting relevant words from some of the greatest sports moments in time. These unique budget-friendly illustrations are the perfect gift, sparking cherished memories and capturing hearts. Choose from city skylines, sports, history, and musicians to find a piece for everyone. And here's the exciting part. For that sports fanatic in your life, gift them a piece of their favorite team or player's history. Art of Words tells a compelling story. Explore collegiate stadiums, each meticulously crafted with every football victory etched into words. Or venture into baseball stadiums, handwritten with every player from the team's illustrious history. My favorite on the site is Bryce Harper 2021 MVP year. Because I'm a big stats guy, I think that's one of the coolest things ever. Check it out. Don't wait. Order a print today for yourself and your loved one this holiday season. Transform your wall into a gallery of captivating art and surprise your family and friends with a print of their own. Use code SHN15 at artofwords.com for a 15% discount on your order in November and December. Visit Art of Words, where words magically transform into stunning art, evoking cherished memories and touching the hearts of those who you care about. Again, use the code SHN15 for 15% off at artofwords.com.
Welcome back to the show, and let us continue with the story of Leroy, Ellis, and John Trapp, two players who played for both the best team in NBA history and the worst team in NBA history. Now, as I mentioned before the break, Ellis and Trapp played on the 1972 Lakers, which won 69 games and the championship that season. But the following season would bring massive change. The Lakers decided to send Ellis and Trapp to the 76ers in exchange for Mel Counts and Bill Bridges. Mel Counts had played everywhere. He won 2 championships with the Bill Russell Celtics of the 1960s before moving on to the Bullets, Lakers, Suns, 76ers, and then back with the Lakers as part of the trade. He was a 7-footer that the Lakers were going to need as a backup to Chamberlain. Bill Bridges was a 6'6" power forward who had played 3 All-Star seasons with the Hawks, but he was losing a step and was no longer the player he had once been. After the Hawks, he went to the 76ers and then to the Lakers as part of this trade. Now, I want to get back to Ellis and Trapp, who were the players at the center of this story. They went to the 76ers in the middle of what is still the worst full season that any team has ever had in the NBA. The 76ers that year won only 9 games. Let me say that again. They won only 9 games. The NBA season has 82 games. I mean, certainly any team, no matter how bad, can win at least 10 games just to say they had double-digit wins. But not this team. The next 2 worst teams that year had over twice as many wins as the 76ers. The Buffalo Braves and the Portland Trail Blazers each won 21 games that year, which is still terrible, but still more than twice as many victories as the 76ers. That year, the 76ers lost the first 15 games of the season before they won their first one. Then they lost the next 6 for a record of 1-21. In addition to the 15-game losing streak that they had to start the season, that 76ers team also had a 13-game losing streak and a 14-game losing streak. And then to really top it off, they had a record 20-game losing streak. Over half of their victories came in a 2-week stretch in the second half of February. During that 2-week stretch, they won 5 out of 7 games, and then failed to win another in the final month of the season. For Ellis, he played this first 10 games of the season with the Lakers prior to the trade, and he won 7 of those 10 games. And then he played in 69 games for the 76ers, winning only 9 of them. I can only imagine what it was like for him to go from being in a championship environment to one where things could not have gotten worse. For Trapp, things were even weirder. He played in only 5 games for the Lakers, but he won 4 of those games. And then he played 39 games for the 76ers and only won 3 of them. He played in more victories for the Lakers in 5 games than he did for the 76ers in 39 games. For Ellis and Trapp, it must have been like walking into the NBA's version of the Twilight Zone. Nothing made sense. Everything was going wrong, and it could not have been that much fun. After that season, Trapp left the 76ers for the Denver Rockets of the ABA, and that team later became the Denver Nuggets. Now, Ellis, on the other hand, finished out his career with the 76ers and played 4 full seasons with the team. He was there long enough to see the 76ers bring in Doug Collins, Larry Brown, World B. Free, Steve Mix, and George McGinnis. That was a solid team that went 46-36 and made the postseason. Now, if only Ellis could have stuck around for 1 more year, because that following year, the 76ers acquired Dr. J, Julius Erving, and the 76ers went all the way to the NBA Finals, where they lost to the Portland Trail Blazers. Now, that would have been something. But either way, it was a unique experience in the NBA. Going from first to worst has its own challenges, as any player just wants to play their best and win as many games as they can for their team. Leroy Ellis, unfortunately, passed away in 2012 at the age of 72. John Trapp is 78 years old and still with us. They are still the only 2 players in league history to have played on the best team in history and the worst team in history. Well, that is it for today. Join us next week when we share another story from basketball history. That's next time on Basketball History 101, part of the Sports History Network, the headquarters of Sports Yesteryear. Go to sportshistorynetwork.com to find out more about this and other sports history podcasts. If you like what you hear, please hit that subscribe button wherever you get your podcasts. And check out our page on Facebook. It's called Basketball History 101 Podcast. And there you will find shorter historical posts as well as comments and discussion starters on today's game. I'll also announce there when new episodes come out. I want to thank my producer and editor, Jacob Loayza. Join us each week as we continue to mine the history of basketball for more great stories from the past. Take care, and see you soon.
The heel gets the heat. The babyface gets the cheers. But the jobber gets, well, the job done. And speaking of jobbers, Barry Horowitz wasn't there to win titles. He was there to build them. By selling every move, every storyline, and every new star that stepped into the ring. He was the secret sauce. And now, he's the headline in his new book titled Wrestling is My Gimmick, My Life on the Wrong Side of the 3 Count. This memoir is a deep dive into wrestling's most underrated position and the man who made it an art form. Whether you're a fan of wrestling, a fan of sports history, or just love a great story, this book is for you. Again, that's Wrestling is My Gimmick by Barry Horowitz. Grab your copy today before the count strikes 3.